This is what's wrong with trying to get your kid assessed for autism. There are no services. They'll tell you they are, and then you have to wait. You fill out a form, and then you wait longer. You find out you could have gotten services, but the groups that they recommended for you with other parents were actually compulsory, but they didn't care to mention that on their flyer. So then you say, okay, well, send me the dates of the next coming ones. Well, then you have so much going on and you're so stressed out and it's Christmas time that you forget about the second one. And so now you have to wait another 3 months to get back on the group list so that your child can receive therapy for sensory issues. Then there's another workshop you have to take for occupational therapy. And then they say, if you decide you want to do it after this, you get 4 sessions. Then after 5 months, 2 months of waiting to talk to the person on the phone to schedule an appointment, you find out the 2 months was really just waiting to talk to her on the phone, and she didn't even know what you were calling for. So then you get to answer another 100 questions about your kid that you've already answered once to about 3 other people. And you tell her about 100 things that your kid needs to work on, and she says, pick the top 3. So then you say, okay, well, when can we finally meet and start this work? And she says, well, let's meet again, and this time we can ask you more questions, but bring your son, and maybe he can answer some for us too. So where are we now? Waiting to see her again so my son can answer more questions when he's only 3. Waiting to do one more workshop so that I can even qualify for the sensory therapy. And another workshop for speech pathology that I didn't know was compulsory. And then I was called before Christmas to say speech pathology was starting. So I called in January to follow up, and turns out, nope, it's not actually starting. You got to do the group first. Hi, it's me again. I just left my house. My husband has been sick and he finally woke up. I had a really hard morning at home with my son. I had to leave. So I came here with my dog to a place where there's trails to hike, and I find that when I'm really stressed out, the best thing for me is to get into nature and just totally unplug and listen to the nature sounds, and if I can have a dog with me, it's even better. So here's my little dog. Say hi, Mojo. So I wanted to do a little bit better of a job explaining now that I'm not quite as upset. I'm never sure if I should be looking here or here. I think here. I live in a small town in northern Ontario, and I'm sure maybe there are more services for children to get assessed for autism in larger cities. Here, there's basically only one doctor that does it. So my son just turned 3, so when we got put on the list, he was 2, and they will fast track you through the list if your child is under 3, because scientific research that has just come out has said that early intervention really makes a difference. So this is a long story, and I know that you probably don't want to stay tuned for 45 minutes, so I'm just going to try and touch on the timeline of everything that happened super quickly. So my child was late reaching a lot of milestones growing up, especially speech, and I didn't really have anything to compare it to because he's my only child. And I started noticing a difference really when he was at a daycare and all the other kids were younger than him, and then one day a kid started going to the daycare that was a little bit older than my son, and his speech was way more advanced, and that's when I looked into getting him assessed by a speech therapist. So when they called me after waiting for 3 to 6 months, I thought he would be receiving speech therapy, and that was back in fall of, what are we in now, 2020? 2018, I think. Yes, so it's been a year and a half now, or more. I might have that date wrong. So he ended up meeting with somebody who I thought was a speech pathologist, but really it was basically a case manager for a child, and their official title is, I don't remember. So he's been meeting with her on and off for the last 2 years. Well, he's been trying to get connected with services, even though he was under 2. Well, he's had to wait so long that he's now 3. I finally found out about 3 or 4 months ago that he was going to have his assessment for autism with the one pediatrician here that does it, and it was like a week after they called me, but it was part 1 of 2, and the second part isn't happening until 6 months after that, which will be this summer. So basically we just met with a nurse and answered like 100 questions, and now he'll be seeing the pediatrician for the second part. Stuff that my son does and behaviors that are obviously very stressful for me, which is why I have meltdowns like in the little previous video that I'll attach onto here. Okay, I could get into that in a different video just to try and keep this short, but so that was a long wait, but that wasn't even the frustrating part, because the only thing he would need an assessment for is to have a label so that when he gets into school he can have extra supports. So that video ended because I actually got a call from the place that I was just about to start talking to. So apparently if you want services, just start making YouTube videos about how frustrated you are and the universe will hear you. Anyways, I can't even remember where I left off. Oh, I was saying the part that is frustrating is not even waiting for the assessment, it's waiting for the services that can actually help you learn strategies and coping mechanisms to work with your kid. And you don't need an formal diagnosis for that. So that's what we've been waiting for. And we got put on their waiting list as soon as we had that case manager. So basically, let's say 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And we waited 6 months to go in for an assessment with them so they could determine if we needed their services. And that was like a 2-hour thing where they played with my son, and my husband and I were both there. And they said, yes, we recommend occupational therapy, we recommend sensory therapy, we recommend physical therapy. And I was like, great, I already knew that. And that's when I started getting these flyers in the mail for the groups that we could go to. And I was relieved. I wanted these groups. I wanted any tool that I could have. I wanted to meet other parents for the support. Oh, Joe, she sees another doggy. And he's way bigger than you. And of course, they're at the truck right next to us. It's okay, we'll go on our walk soon. Are you showing off your gray beard? Hey, it's okay. They're gonna leave. You scared them away. Mojo's a rescue dog. She's 5. I'm not sure what breed she is. When I got her, I thought she was partly Dachshund, because I had a Dachshund before her that I love dearly, but her temperament is not really like a Dachshund. Hey, you're fine. Oh, she might not stop now. We might have to finish this later. Hey, I'm back. Can't even take my dog for a walk without getting stressed out. The occupational therapy, I knew that it was compulsory because of what I found out with the sensory group, so I made sure I got my ass there. She called me a couple days before Christmas, and it was like a Christmas gift. She said, you can start in January. Well, I didn't hear from them in January, so I called them back, and then they said, well, you're starting the more than words group next month, so your speech therapy won't be starting yet. And I was so fed up that I didn't even answer the voicemail. I figured, well, I'll just talk to her on the first night of the group, which is actually tomorrow, and figure this out, because no, I'm supposed to be starting now with my son. We can do the group at the same time, but I'm just feeling so alone and so frustrated. And I've tried to go to support groups. There were no support groups in our city either for parents of kids with autism. Actually, there's one that meets monthly, and there's another organization that just started up. But these places have been canceling all their meetings, and they have events for kids, and I've gone to some of those, and the parents haven't even talked to me. Here we go again. Mojo, no. Here we are. So, I'm hiking while I do this. Why am I making this video? Like I just said, I'd like more support from parents who are going through this process of before you actually get help and just waiting for services, whether it's for the assessment or for help. And maybe it's not even for autism, maybe it's for something else, because I need some sort of support group and I'm not finding it in my city. So I thought maybe I would find a group of people online. Please comment below if you're going through anything like this and what you're going through and how you're coping, because I'm not just saying comment below because that's what everybody does. I'm saying it because I need help. I need your help. I need camaraderie. I need to know I'm not the only person out there going through this. And that's about it. And if there's anything I've said that you guys want to hear more about, be more than happy to make another video, to vent, to get this all out, to share with you what I'm going through. And maybe seeing all of this nature around me has helped you relax a little bit too. I can still hear the trucks on the highway. So I guess that's it. If I can paste all these videos together, I don't really know what I'm doing yet with all of that. So hopefully I'll be able to get some of my stress out on this hike and go back and be a better mom because I took time for myself. It's hard to know when you need a break. It's hard to know when to step away. And often I find I realize it too late, and it's after I should have taken a break a long time ago. So maybe I'll just take a little video of the trail for you and end the video there. Okay. All right, let's go, Mojo. You pulled me up.